Donald Trump has already done real damage to our democracy.
Hey guys, welcome to the Liberal Hive Mind, a channel solely focused on exposing the abundant hypocrisy of the left. Oh boy, this is just yet again another colossal embarrassment for the Democrat Party. I mean, talk about a circus filled with clowns. First, we're seeing Democrats have to deal with this whole Chris Van Hollen situation, him making an utter fool of himself in the party by scheduling a coffee date with an MS-13 member, to now this situation with this Shri Thanadar character that's backfiring big time on the Democrats. This absolute no-name Democrat bursts onto the scene looking like a freaking SNL character, making all kinds of noise, telling us he's leading an impeachment effort, an inquiry against the President of the United States. The whole thing was so bizarre it felt almost like a parody.
This is Congressman Shri Thanadar. Donald Trump has already done real damage to our democracy, but defying a unanimous 9-0 Supreme Court ruling, that has to be the final straw. It's time we impeach Donald J. Trump.
And while this whole situation should have probably been treated as a full-on joke and tossed aside, Democrats in their endless Trump derangement syndrome didn't even take a moment to think any of it through. They just saw impeach Trump and that's all they needed. They jumped on the damn bandwagon. I mean, that's the level of brain rot we're dealing with here. But then just 1 week later, all of a sudden Democrats start jumping the Shri ship, as now 3 co-sponsors have dropped off the bill, as it turns out that this Shri character isn't exactly so squeaky clean, and now it's coming back to haunt the Democrats. Let me show you guys exactly what's going on here. We got some stuff to get into, so let's roll the tape. Alright folks, so Shri Thanadar goes from impeachment hero to Democrat punchline in 1 week. He comes out and bursts onto the scene, "Donald Trump, I will impeach you!" But 1 week later, this is the headline that pops up. 3 House Democrats pull names from co-sponsorship of Shri Thanadar's Trump impeachment bill. Jerry Nadler, Robin Kelly, and Kwesi Mfume all pulled their names from the articles of impeachment. And this is rare. Democrats not all being aligned on something like impeachment, especially heading into the midterms. I mean, what could possibly be wrong here? And well, the issue is the truth is finally coming out. See, it turns out tethering yourself to this Shri character is not exactly a good look. First off, we got the money element. So as is now being reported, Shri is allegedly sitting on $800,000 in campaign debt, and the claim is a lot of this money he paid out of his own pocket. And now the allegation is that he's actually just using this impeachment stunt to fundraise off of it so he could pay himself back.
We looked into Shri Thanadar, and what I discovered is that Shri Thanadar has nearly $800,000 of debt on his FEC record, according to the most recent filings that were just filed not too long ago. He originally started out with a debt of negative $1.2 million, and he's been working down this debt. Look at that. It says investment income loss. So what is he trying to do? He's saying that he self-funded a lot of this money for his campaign, but he's trying to reimburse himself through donations to his campaign. This is a scam. He's trying to raise money for his congressional campaign to get out of debt, which is why he's launching these impeachment articles against President Trump, and why he did it the day before President Trump came to Michigan, because he's hoping that a lot of stupid Democrats out there are going to be like, oh, this Indian is actually going to impeach Donald Trump, when in reality that Indian scammer is going to take your money and he's going to put it back into his own pocket after he reimburses himself for his investment income loss. First of all, you don't invest in a campaign, you donate to a campaign. You don't get your investment back after you invest into a campaign, because that's not how campaigns work. That's actually a violation of campaign finance laws, right? That's why Ron DeSantis got in trouble, if you recall, because he was calling his campaign donors investors, as I exposed during the presidential primary. So the fact that he's calling it investment income loss, in my opinion, is grounds for him to be investigated for campaign finance fraud.
Yeah, it seems like Shri Thanadar saw the Adam Schiff Act Blue grift, and he said to himself, show me the money. Scream about Donald Trump and watch the roll in. Yeah, not exactly a good look. Either this guy is trying to fundraise off of this ridiculous little stunt here, or he's doing what the rest of these Democrats are trying to do, noticing a power vacuum in the party and attempting to fill that void. But I don't know about you guys, something tells me Shri for President 2028 isn't exactly cutting it. But anyways, associating yourself with this guy is obviously just a bad look, especially as his 2018 scandal is now resurfacing. So allegedly, Mr. Shri here owned a testing lab that went belly up, and when the lab went defunct, supposedly this guy left behind abandoned over 170 animals, many of which were actually rescued in horrifying conditions.
Shri Thanadar is responding to new reports regarding a company he owned 8 years ago that's now bankrupt. The allegations involved mistreatment of 170 dogs and monkeys used for testing of new drugs. The company, Anaclin Preclinical Services, used the animals to test drugs prior to FDA approval. Thanadar told 7 Action News last week that the testing was for side effects and that the animals would get higher blood pressure and some rash. Thanadar says the animals were not abandoned. He says they were fed and cared for by staff. But he also claims his attorneys went to court with a motion to have those animals sold as assets to lower his company's debt.
Today we rescued 120 beagles from a lab in New Jersey that had gone out of business. And some friends of ours at an animal rights organization in New York City went and freed them and said, we need to do something with these animals. These are animals that don't understand what being a dog really is. And these are 120 animals that on this 4th of July have an opportunity to be free.
Well, he was shaking and hiding in the corner. And when I picked him up, his heart was beating really fast, just scared. So I just put myself on the ground and let him come over to me little by little.
Animal welfare workers say the animals were totally abandoned. And at one point, he declared them as assets and tried to auction them off to cover his own financial losses. So yeah, I guess we're starting to get a decent picture here. We're starting to understand why Democrats are suddenly backing off anything that this guy touches. This guy's not a hero. He's not a whistleblower, blowing the whistle on the Trump regime and the various crimes that President Trump has committed. He's not the next Democrat star. No, he might actually just be a scam artist trying to cash in on impeachment while the Democrat Party around him completely frickin' implodes. What a complete clown show. But obviously, this is what happens when your party has no leadership and no direction. They are in such disarray, it's such utter dysfunction. It's total amateur hour at the DNC. The party has no vision, and there's certainly no talent leading them towards a vision, towards a direction. There's no grassroots movement, and so what we have here is a dysfunctional circus filled with a bunch of clowns, desperate weirdos chasing headlines, power-hungry nobodies trying to make a name for themselves by attacking Trump, attempting to seek that pathetic 5 minutes of fame. This is what the Democrat Party has become, a broken political establishment, grasping at straws. They've got nothing. I mean, just think about it. Impeachment? Really? Again? That's how you know there's no leadership, and the fact that top Democrat leaders, many House members, actually jump behind this clown shows you just how pathetic the state of affairs for this party really is. Another failed impeachment fantasy instead of doing the bare minimum of workshopping, a decent platform and vision for the country. What a complete pathetic display. Anyways, that's pretty much what I got for you guys on this one. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. If you did, make sure to leave a like and possibly subscribe. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.